Hello and welcome to the current affairs series. Let us start with today's updates. The first news bit comes from M&M. M&M stands for Mahindra and Mahindra. And Mahindra opens 40% of their tractor dealership. Now you may wonder, when the whole of the country or whole of the world is under lockdown, why are they allowing the sales of tractors? Tractors are a very important part of Indian agriculture. Like all of you know, Indian agriculture is one of the important activities in our GDP or in our economy. Even today, 60 to 70% of the population depends on agriculture, and agriculture is very important because agriculture supplies the most essential thing for life, and that is food. So tractors play a very important role, and keeping the the sowing season in mind, government has allowed the sales of tractors. Now, what is M&M all about? It is important for us to know because this is one of the important companies operating in our country. Now, M&M started in the year 1945. This is even before our independence. When it was started, it was Mohammed and Mahindra. M&M stood for Mohammed and Mahindra. After partition, Mohammed went to Pakistan and Mahindra stayed back in India, and it was renamed as Mahindra and Mahindra. Mahindra and Mahindra is the largest manufacturer of tractors, not just in India but across the world, which is very important. Now, there are two names to be remembered by us. Mahindra and Mahindra auto and tractor part of the business is headed by Rajesh Jejurikar, whereas the Mahindra and Mahindra group, the CEO of the group is Anand Mahindra. He is the CEO since 1997. And he is somebody who is very active on social media and somebody worth following in the social media these days, right? So this is about Mahindra and Mahindra. Let's go ahead. The second news bit is very interesting. I've taken 3 news bits for y'all. Let's try to compare. This gives us an understanding of how the Indian corporate is working today. The first one is a negative news which says that financial package demanded for organized retail sector. We know that the retail sector, especially the organized retail sector, is in deep trouble. We know that the malls have been closed, the supermarkets have been closed, and this is a tough time for the organized retailers, and they have approached RBI and they are asking for a package. So they are in trouble. So that's why I told this is a negative news. On the other side, see, this is very interesting. We all know because of the lockdown, many companies have made their employees work from home. This is very, very popularly called as WFH. As a result of which, number of people taking the Wi-Fi has increased. This is a good sign. If you look at the news, says that when you look at the number of people using the fixed broadband in India is very low when compared to the developed countries, although we have a good number of people using it, but it is low when compared to the developing countries. Because of the work from home option, it is observed that the number of people who are taking Wi-Fi is increasing. The third news bit is very interesting. It comes from Paytm. Paytm Mall to team up with 10,000 Kirana stores. Now, in the first video that we made on the current affairs, I had explained to y'all the deal that has happened between Facebook and Jio. Now, and I had also told you that Paytm is facing tough time because it will be serious competition for Paytm. In response to that, Paytm has already responded to it and they are tying up with 10,000 Kirana stores. Kirana stores are small shops where we go and buy the required goods for our daily consumption. So they are tying up and they are changing their entire approach. Maybe this is in response, or this was in mind of Paytm even before the deal happened. So you can see a few sectors are facing tough times. Few of them are very happy with whatever is happening around them, and few others are changing their approach completely. And that's what everybody are talking today. It will be the post-corona world will be different from the pre-corona world, and you can see certain things that are changing in the corporate world of the country. Right, let's go ahead. Let's go to the third news bit. There are few company results which are coming out. We should know this. Adani Power posts 1,312 crore loss. So this is for the Q4. Q4 in India is between January to March, and they have posted a huge loss. Whereas Ambuja Cements has posted a net profit of 6.8%. So this is a bad news and this is a good news. But What is important is what is going to happen to these companies after the corona. That is very important, and we need to watch out both these companies. Right, let's go ahead. Now, yesterday we were discussing about the different leaders of Europe. We discussed about the Germany's Chancellor, the President of France, President of Russia, and the Prime Minister of UK and all that. Now, there is a news coming again from UK, and Boris Johnson, who is the Prime Minister of the country, he was tested positive and he was admitted in the hospital. He was undergoing treatment and he is back. That's a good news for UK. There are certain other important names associated with the UK government and politics which we have to know. First one is the Finance Minister of UK. His name is Rishi Sunak. He is of Indian origin. The second important name here is the Home Minister of UK, and her name is Preeti Sushil Patel. And the last name here is Sadiq Khan. He is the Mayor of London. While these two are of Indian origin, Sadiq Khan is of Pakistan origin and he is the Mayor of London. So these are certain names which we have to know, because time and again they will be in news and we will be reading about them. So if we know who they are, it becomes easy for us to understand and assimilate such news bits. Right, let's go to the next part. The next news bit comes from the sugar industry. This is very interesting. Domestic sugar consumption to fall by at least 1 million ton. So this is an interesting news, but again not all that great because the consumption is reducing. Anyway, this is the case with almost all the goods and services around us. Everybody's production and consumption is going to fall. Now let us try to understand this a little more. Now if you take goods, you can broadly classify them as consumer goods and industrial goods. Consumer goods are goods which we bring home and we consume it directly. That is consumer goods in simple terms. Industrial goods are goods which are used for further processing. Right, so they become industrial goods. They are mostly purchased by factories and companies and organizations and others. Now, where does sugar qualify? Does it qualify under consumer good or industrial good? It is a consumer good because we bring it home and we use it. It is more of an industrial good. Why is it more of an industrial good? Who uses it? All the chocolates, confectionaries, soft drink companies that we see around us, the baking companies, everybody use sugar to a very large extent. That's why sugar is mostly an industrial product and less of a consumer product. Although we use it, our consumption, I read it a long time back, if my memory is serving me right, then it is told that around 15% of the total production of sugar is what all of us put together use in our house. The remaining 85% goes to the industrial consumption. So what is told here is the domestic sugar consumption within our country, the sugar consumption is going to fall by 1 million ton. This is a huge reduction in consumption because the confectionaries and chocolates and soft drink companies have slashed their production, they've stopped their production, and it takes some time for them to bounce back. Right, let's go to the next news bit. This is again interesting. FPIs continue to remain sellers as Sensex and Nifty rally on RBI move. Yesterday, if you have observed the markets went up by Sensex by around 445 points, if I remember correctly. That was the increase in the Sensex. Now, why did this happen? This happened because RBI has come out with a stimulus package for the mutual fund industry after the 6 debt funds which were closed by Franklin Templeton. There was negativity in the mutual fund industry, and yesterday's stimulus by RBI is expected to do good to mutual fund industry, and the markets responded very positively and market went up. Who are selling and who were buying? Mostly the domestic investors were buying in the market, they were investing, but FPIs were selling. Now we need to know there are 3 ways in which foreign money comes to the country. The first one is FDI, foreign direct investment, where a foreign company comes and invests their money in our country and sets up their business operations. So that becomes foreign direct investment. For example, say Microsoft will come to India and set up their operations in India. So that becomes foreign direct investment for us. What is foreign institutional investment? Say there are a lot of banks or a lot of financial institutions in other countries. They collect money from their investors and they come and invest here in the form of an institution. So such investment becomes the institutional investments. Here we are talking about the foreign portfolio investment. So what happens here is a foreigner, a person of another country, another national, comes and invests his money in our country stock market. It may be direct investment by him or through some professional, but he is investing at his individual capacity. So such investments are called foreign portfolio investment. These three types are very important for us because we discussed this in detail in economics of the CSEET syllabus. So it is important for us. So yesterday what we understand is FPIs were selling, but domestic investors were investing the money, and as a result of which we saw the markets going up by 445 points, something of that sort, right? So this is the news for us. The last news bit for today's video is Amazon India to use 55 rail routes to transport goods. Earlier it is told that they were using 13 lanes, now they are using 55. Now if you just browse in the Google, you will understand that Indian Railways is not a profit making company. They don't make huge profits. Here and there they make some profits. Now where do most of the revenues come from? Most of the revenues for them comes from the freight, that is by the goods, the transportation of goods. Passenger railways is always more of a cost and less of revenue source for them. But Indian Railways is the lifeline of India, because Indian Railways will not only connect people, not only connect places, but they help in the total operations of the economic world of our country. So it's very, very important. And now the new addition to that is Amazon is using 55 rail routes to transport their goods and services. Yesterday also we discussed about Indian Railways, the railway minister and other things, and we understood that there are two trains. I have told you have to remember these two names. One is Annapurna and other is Jai Kisan, which are supplying the essential goods in the country. And today the news is Amazon has tied up with railways. So remember all these things, these are important. I hope you liked the entire thing. Just to remind you all, there are free video classes which are available on CSEET, and the link is available in the description. You can click register and start taking the free video classes and prepare yourself for the upcoming CSEET exams. If you have any doubts related to whatever we discussed in this video, you can leave it in the comment section and we shall get back to you. Thank you very much.